Welcome back to the Warbird Mistress. Today is Sunday the 1st of February 1942, and this is a walk through the war. Beginning in the American Theater of Operations Zone of the Interior, at the headquarters of the United States Army Air Forces, the units activated today include the 8th Bomber Command at Langley Field, Virginia, the 8th Interceptor Command at Selfridge Field, Michigan, and the 9th Interceptor Command at New Orleans. And then going around to the Southwest Pacific area with the Far East Air Force, the headquarters of the 35th Pursuit Group Interceptor arrives at Brisbane from the United States. The remainder of the fighter group departed San Francisco several days ago aboard the U.S. Army Transport Ancon, a passenger and cargo vessel of the Panama Railroad Company, originally making the New York to Cristobal Canal Zone run, before being converted into a troop ship in only 20 days, beginning on the 11th of January 1942, and departing with the men of the 35th only 20 days later. While moving north to the Philippines, P-40s from Bataan bomb and strafe landing barges off Quinaon Point on the night of the 1st and 2nd of February is shown here on the Army map from the official history of the war. The Japanese attempt to reinforce troops ashore is repulsed by determined sorties by the Army P-40s and coordinated naval and field artillery fire from the outdated but determined batteries of the Philippine Scouts and the U.S. Army. The Japanese are beaten back into the sea as they suffer considerable casualties and material damage at Quinaon Point and at Anyosan, although landings do take place south of Quinaon Point on Bataan, where they are faced by the determined men of the oldest, the proudest, the 4th Marines. The Japanese have learned that there is a lot of fight left in the men of the Bataan Peninsula, and it will not be as easy to outflank the peninsula's defenses as they'd hoped, nor by any means are American pilots finished fighting. And that takes us to Monday, the 2nd of February, 1942. With the Far East Air Force, the headquarters of the 49th Pursuit Group Interceptor and the 7th, 8th, and 9th Pursuit Squadrons Interceptor arrive at Melbourne from the United States with P-40s and prepare for their first operational missions in March and April. Further east in the Hawaiian Air Force, the 7th Interceptor Command is activated at Fort Shafter, Territory of Hawaii, with Brigadier General Howard C. Davidson in command. Major General Willis H. Hale commands the 7th Bomber Command. Moving forward to Tuesday, the 3rd of February 1942, in the American Theater of Operations Caribbean Air Force, the 31st Pursuit Squadron Interceptor of the 37th Pursuit Group Interceptor transfers from Albrook Field Canal Zone West a few miles to Churera, Panama with P-26s and P-40s. These 9 examples are the last P-26s still operational in the United States Army Air Forces. In the Southwest Pacific area, in the Dutch East Indies and the Far East Air Force, B-17s flying out of Sumatra strike Japanese shipping off Sinjai and claim a hit on a carrier, although there is no available evidence to support this claim. Meanwhile, Mother Nature and Allied interceptors wreak havoc on Japanese attempts to strike airfields and shipping targets in the Dutch East Indies, as their Sallies, Nells, and Bettys are either shot down, scared off, or turned back by the poor weather that batters the straits for 14 straight days before finally clearing on the 18th. Today also marks when Australian and Dutch forces of Gulf Force on Ambon surrendered to the Japanese forces in what will be one of the first tastes of Japan's inhumanity to man. For the next 2 weeks, 300 of the men captured will be tortured and summarily executed by the Japanese under the command of Commander Kunito Hatakeyama in retaliation for the sinking of a minesweeper. 3/4 of the men captured will not survive the horror of Japanese imprisonment. It is from that same blood-soaked soil of Laha airstrip, sacred with the lives of Dutch and Australian prisoners, whence the Japanese will soon launch their strikes on Darwin. Thousands more will suffer at the POW camp on the island until it is finally liberated in 1945. Staying in the Southwest Pacific area, on Wednesday, the 4th of February 1942, the Far East Air Force's B-17s of the 9th Heavy Bomb Squadron at Yogyakarta and those of the 88th Heavy Recon Squadron at Hickam Field, and the headquarters unit of the 7th Heavy Bomb Group in Brisbane, all begin their treks to Karachi, British India. On Thursday, the 5th of February 1942, in the American Theater of Operations, the 47th Medium Bomb Squadron of the 41st Medium Bomb Group transfers from Muroc Army Airfield to Visalia Army Airfield for California to continue flying anti-sub patrols. Also on ASW duty is the 113th Observation Squadron Medium of the 67th Observation Group, who was transferred from Keyfield, Meridian, Mississippi, to New Orleans Army Air Base, Louisiana. In the Southwest Pacific Theater, the Air Echelon of the 91st Bomb Squadron Light, 27th Bombardment Group Light, ceases operating from Brisbane, Australia with A-24 Banshees, the Army variant of the SPD Dauntless, and begins a movement to Malang, Java. The ground echelon remains in the trenches, slugging it out on Bataan with the rest of the Army forces there. Some administrative changes also happened today. In the Pacific Ocean area, the Hawaiian Air Force is redesignated the 7th Air Force. In Alaska, the Alaskan Defense Command's Alaskan Air Force is redesignated the 11th Air Force. The Caribbean Air Force is redesignated the 6th Air Force. And in the Southwest Pacific area, the Far East Air Force is redesignated the 5th Air Force. And rounding out our administrative duties of these days, on the 6th of February 1942, the War Department announces the creation of the U.S.-British Combined Chiefs of Staff. And that was the 1st through the 6th of February 1942. Thank you for your patience in waiting for the episodes every now and then, and I am going to try to get them out a lot quicker than I have been. And in the meantime, I just want to make sure that you know I'm grateful for your attentiveness and for sharing these videos, for your donations to keep everything going. Until next time, this is Claire, and I am the Warbird Mistress. Take care.